But okay, what's y'all's favorite kaiju?
Paul Bunyan?
I just knew
Right,
somebody was
well.
going to say Paul Bunyan.
Would he be a kaiju? Would his bull be the kaiju?
I think they're both kaiju.
That's fair.
I mean, I guess the thing that makes you different from kaiju and cryptid is how hidden you can be.
Is it that or is it sentience? Like, I think therefore I am a kaiju kind of deal. Like,
but cryptids would be sentient too, right?
Could be. Fucking what's that one? The bloodsucker. You go bloodsucker.
Oh, the chupacabra.
Yeah. I don't know if it's sentient per se. Like,
well, define sentient.
There's a fine line.
Can you hold
between
a conversation with it?
Yeah. That's a thought. Well, then you can't talk with Godzilla.
No.
They make that joke in the movie.
Send him to a couples counselor.
It's a fine line between Mothra and Mothman.
Okay, let's go with.
Is there?
What's your favorite version of Godzilla?
This one, dude.
Okay, Tim.
I lean in on some of the animated versions, but I love a Godzilla that looks like a puppet or a costume.
What about one that, like, and gives you absolute fear?
Oh, you just panic. Like, that would be bad.
Absolute panic, dude.
My favorite design is 2014 Godzilla, the start of the MonsterVerse. My favorite version of Godzilla, I have a tie. Honestly, I kind of like have a tie between Destroy the City Godzilla and Save the City Godzilla. Like, I like Fun Godzilla, but I also love Destroy the City Godzilla. And like Horror Godzilla is very scary.
Yeah, well, just the entire concept is like, this movie nailed the concept of like, this is absolutely terrifying. How are you trying to deal with this with bureaucracy? What is your problem? But what it's kind of one of the things that always got me in the movies, because they're just like, oh, Godzilla is coming, we have to do something. Like, do what? Do what?
They raised the question.
Get smashed.
So yeah, the
2014.
2014, which is the start of the MonsterVerse that we're currently in for the American Godzillas.
Oh yes, I remember.
But they changed it because the first one was Godzilla. I mean, it was both. It was Scary Godzilla and Godzilla Save the City. But I think that's why I kind of go both ways with it, because that 2014 Godzilla, I love 2014 Godzilla, but I don't know. I think I just like
that
Godzilla.
One was chunky.
Yeah, they shrunk him as the movies went on, they kept making him smaller. But when in the first one, he was taller than the tallest building in San Francisco. Like, when they first, and then they didn't show you him a lot to make him even scarier. So like, the first time you really start to see him, they the troops skydived out, and then it was really cloudy, and then there was lightning, and then you would just get flashes of Godzilla as they started to fall past them, and that's how tall he was, that they hadn't even popped their parachutes yet, and they were still falling past them, and then they kept shrinking them. But anyway.
Oh, I found a size chart. What the fuck?
Well, let's get into it. On that note, thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we are the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? It's a secret, but you might be able to find us stuck in pre-meetings, board meetings, and press conferences while a natural, unmeasurable disaster happens outside our windows. My name is Tiff Zilla, your host incarnate, and on this podcast, I make my friends watch movies until either morale improves or we run out of movies to watch. And on the panel today, Atomic Fallout, Tim.
Boo. Scary.
Natural disaster, Ren.
Morale still has not improved.
Well, just keep it moving then.
Pop in another Wes Anderson movie.
We did.
And the movie we're doing this week is Shin Godzilla. Japan is plunged into chaos upon the appearance of a giant monster. Literally the plot of 80% of the Godzillas. But still, that's all I'm going to give you until we get through it. If you haven't watched it, it is streaming on Crunchyroll. Not to be confused with Godzilla -1, which is currently in theaters, surprisingly, because it originally only came out for a week. And we've been yelling about it, and they keep extending the the screening. So now I think we just hit 50 million just in the U.S. box office alone.
And,
With
Damn.
people going to see
they
minus
spend
one.
like $48 on that movie too.
You know what's crazy? So it was they say 15 million. The director says that he wishes it was 15 million, so it's possibly less. And some people are like, "Ain't no way they did it for 15 million." This movie was done for 10 million.
No, it
The
feels.
look you just gave me.
I feel like I understand how.
Yeah, I don't doubt it,
Mhm.
but they still managed to stretch it and make it look real good.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not the best CGI, but
No.
it looks way better than $10 million worth, right?
Yeah.
Including paying actors and stuff. But I said this with minus one. Again, this is a different movie. This is the 2016, the previous Toho Godzilla, not to be confused with the MonsterVerse American Godzilla is going on also right now. 2016 Godzilla. It could also be a testament to how little Japan pays their animators.
Ooh, yeah.
Considering we all watch anime on this podcast pretty much, and
Yeah, it's getting hard to watch JJK right now.
If you know, you know. Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, oh my goodness. Mappa, like...
we've officially reached y'all play too much.
It's like, like that's what this is a tangent, but like if you don't watch anime, then you don't know what the hell we're talking about. So I'm just going to explain it real quick. There's an anime going on right now that's a really big deal, and we're all watching it, and it's very epic, very great, very well animated, but their animators don't get paid and they haven't seen their families in 6 months. So it's like, are we part of the problem? We probably are. But anyway, so knowing how bad they get treated, now I can kind of see how they're pulling off these movies for so little, but also like they still got to pay actors and everybody else, right? So anyway, we're not going to dig too much into that.
It's okay. I have the perfect solution. Godzilla.
Just send Godzilla. That'll fix Mappa.
Perfect.
Well, they'll just be stuck in board meetings forever.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
UFO Table is going to be like, they're going to be fine. Mappa's going to be fine. Bones will stay in place. Trigger will be good. Like,
look, all I'm saying is Kyoto Animation. Look up Google, go down that rabbit hole, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I don't know if I wanna.
Wasn't Trigger's solution to the problem, let's not do any anime for 2 years?
Well, they just came out with Doses in Dungeon right now too,
and they did Cyberpunk.
Yes, they did.
They pretty much dialed back to only that. I think they were working on at one point, and people were like, "When's the next Trigger thing?" And they're like, "We ain't got no money."
Yeah.
So.
Well, it seems like they kind of staggered their stuff out because I think they had Little Witch Academia, Promare, Cyberpunk. Sorry, they had BNA.
They were never doing more than 2 at a time.
Yeah.
And then it went back to 1.
I think that was the solution, and everybody was like, "You should do more." They're like, "We broke though."
Yeah. Better to acknowledge being broke than to kill your staff, but what do I know?
Now Netflix pays them, but I've heard Netflix don't pay them well either, but it might be like the lesser of two evils. I don't know, but back to this podcast.
Hey, you know the solution? Godzilla. Stick them on
Trigger
Netflix.
Godzilla.
Oh no. But speaking of anime, this was written and directed by, or co-directed by, Hideaki Anno, who's of Neon Genesis Evangelion fame, everyone's favorite existential crisis anime. Yeah, so I'm not going to get too into Neon Genesis, but if you know, you know. But check that out.
It's a story about a sad boy who wants his dad to love him, but he gets to hang out with a bunch of funny ladies.
Yeah.
They're all hilarious.
Funny is one way to describe them. What cracks me up now that you mentioned it about the he said director of Evangelion?
Yeah.
It's kaiju, you know what I mean? Oh, creator. And it's just, kaiju, giant thing, just bleeding all over a city. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, he loves his fluids.
Yeah.
Oh, gigantic monsters.
Ominous, vague fluids.
Yeah. But yeah, co-director, I want to give credit to Shinji Higuchi also. He co-directed this with Hideaki Anno.
Yeah, Higuchi. Sorry.
Anno just kept going, "Would you like to get in the robot?" And he was like, "Please stop making that joke."
No, I don't.
I would not like to just stop, please.
If you look at his credits, he's a big old nerd too.
Weird.
He worked on a Godzilla? That's odd. Not sure how they put that together.
You sound like a Chad jock. Like, what the fuck?
And the actors include Hiroki Hasegawa, Tadaka Takanouchi, Satomi Ishihara, Ren Osugi, Akira Emoto, Kengo Kora, Mikako Ichikawa, Jun Kinemura, and Kimiko Yo. Now, I'm only familiar with the last two, and Jun Kimura, y'all might know as the Yakuza boss that Orenishi beheaded in Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh!
And if anybody else has anything else to say, now's the fucking time. Yeah, like that. And Kimiko Yo is in one of my favorite shows, Midnight Diner. It's a Japanese show on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never finished that. I like that.
You don't have to finish it. It's kind of episodic.
No, you have to finish it.
It's nice.
It's great. Like if you're awake, it's hard for me because I have to be awake enough to read subtitles, but sleepy enough to want to feel cozy and watch it. Like that's the prime window to take it all in.
Well, lucky for you, the Shin Godzilla that pops up on Crunchyroll first is the dubbed.
I watched both.
I did not, and I kind of wish that I checked out the subtitle version just because some of the voices I spent so much time trying to remember
which anime they're from.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Is that fucking Spike?"
Because it's a Funimation dub.
Yeah. So I'm just like the whole time I'm like, "Where have I heard that voice?" And now I'm getting mad because I'm getting distracted.
I will say that the dub is almost verbatim the sub. Oh. Now I don't. That's assuming the sub says the right things too.
I want to throw my hat in the ring. I watched the subtitle and nothing is more hilarious than the scenes where the woman is speaking English.
Yeah.
They're
great.
The American Japanese lady, when she speaks
was such a
English, they are she is knocking it out of the park.
And sometimes
I love all the headshots where she's just like
she's like halfway flirting with him. And he doesn't he's kind of, I can't tell if he's flirting back or not, if he's just because he's always kind of serious. But
I told you he's a Chad.
They're having her literally though do a thing where she pretends to not speak Japanese real good.
Yeah.
But then when she goes to speak English, it's just like, hello, I speak English
just US
too.
Japan, so win-win.
Yes. She has this. There's a scene where she keeps going,
I gotta watch
yes.
That now.
She's just saying yes to something, but every time she says yes, yes. And it's just like, no, don't do that. What are you doing that?
Okay, so
yes.
Wes Anderson casting Scarlett Johansson.
Oh god.
Perfect. That's every woman in the movie though.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
every
Japanese.
woman in a sci-fi.
She is every woman.
I see what you did there.
Every woman is a Scarlett Johansson.
All right, Major Killian. Moving on. Like I said, this is a Toho Godzilla. The box office. This is funny. Domestic 1.9 million because this is from the US point of view. International 76.1. So most of that is Japan. Almost all of that is Japan.
Dang.
So $78 million. Yay, off of a $10 million alleged budget.
Damn. And they're still not paying animators.
And awards. So it didn't win any American Academy Awards, but Japan, it cleared house. I forgot the number of nominations, but they won 7.
That's
Best
great.
Film, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Lighting, Best Editing, Best Sound, and Best Art Direction. So they went to town in Japan. And destroyed it.
Was it a smash hit?
It was atomic. So Rotten Tomatoes, tell me if this makes sense. Audience 75%, critics 86%. So fresh both ways, but audience 75%?
I think if it's anything like I'm thinking, the audience went into it and we're like, what's with all these office scenes? I thought this was Godzilla.
Oh, this did very much feel like a movie about bureaucracy. It was 57% about government red tape,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest was just Godzilla fucking shit up and being scary as hell.
I
I'd
loved
say it was 70%.
Yeah, I loved every scene where it was like, I talked to an expert, and he said it was like no way that Godzilla can do that, and then like the camera would show Godzilla do that, and he'd be like, what? But my expert said he couldn't do that.
I purposely wrote down all those parts because I loved okay, here's my thing.
Just Jim from The Office looking into the camera.
It's like 70% West Wing, and the other 30% is fucking oh god, I don't know, X-Files or some shit, like End of the World, fucking
Ministers of Percents, Ren.
I didn't ask for this office.
But you're doing your role for your country.
That was the best character, by the way. It's like, I just want to eat my ramen.
He was like, oh, my noodles are soggy. I knew this job would be hard. Like,
bro.
But so let's just get into it then. The real quick shout outs, Oregon, Texas, and our friend in India popped back in.
Hey-o.
Whoop whoop.
And of
India.
course,
as they say in India, g'day, mate.
And they turned it off. Weird.
I think Brazil came back too for a little bit, assuming that's just not Tim's VPN. But remember to like, share, subscribe, yada yada yada. Now, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil this movie. It's on Crunchyroll. Now, Crunchyroll is like one of the most downloaded apps in the world, but I'm not going to assume the cinema community has it. But I'm just going to assume you've seen this movie already. But if you haven't and you just like listening to our voices, that's fine too. But we're about to spoil it. Spoiler alert, Godzilla destroys the city.
What?
Anyway.
Make it sound like there's 40 years of footage. Like, weird.
Why do they keep making the same movie over and over?
I've had this thought forever. You know how like people, they look at our past and they see cave drawings and they go, how did they know? How did the cave people know? And I think it's just random chance. But what's to say like 100 years in the future, some giant lizard comes crawling out of the ocean?
How did they know?
How did they know? How did they know it could happen?
Funny.
So good luck.
So real quick, how does everyone feel about it?
One of the most Godzilla movies of all time.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I absolutely hated the wave of natural disaster movies that came out, like fucking Twister and Dante's Peak and Volcano. There's a time in like the late 90s where they were like, no, we need you to be scared to go outside too.
Yeah.
Every other month. It was just ridiculous.
This shit would have made me scared to go outside. You know what I mean? Like, it's not Jaws, it's worse than Jaws, and the thing keeps changing and it keeps bleeding everywhere.
You can avoid the ocean. You can't avoid a 40-foot.
It's coming for you.
I thought this movie was so fucking cool, and I don't know why I just missed watching it for the last 7-8 years.
Look, I know why. I'm about to tell you. Well, I know why for me. Sorry.
Please.
So, in typical Tifron fashion, it's a completely ridiculous story.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
It's the Netflix DVD. I got the Netflix DVD through the mail. Rest in peace. And I didn't watch it, and I lost it. And I was like, I'm not going to watch this movie as much as I want to watch it. I'm not going to watch it until I can find that DVD to watch it that way.
Okay, that is asinine, and that is not what I was expecting you to say.
Oh, what were you? Okay, now you got to tell me.
I thought you were going to say it was one of those things where it's like PDA, like pathological demand avoidance, where everybody's like, Tiff, watch the fucking movie. It's good. And you're like, no, don't tell me what the fuck to do. I'll watch my own
that's
schedule.
Not me. I absolutely obey
That was
everybody.
totally fucking me. I was like, fine, I get it. It's good. I'll watch it. And then 10 years later, it's like, damn, I really should have watched that sooner.
Just out of spite.
Mine is the same as always. It's like, oh, is this that new Godzilla? Yeah, you should sit down and watch it with us. Yeah, have a good time. I'm gonna go make a drink. Yeah. Now I'm outside. I see bits and pieces of movie and go, man, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. And then part of my brain goes, you've seen it now. You can say you've seen that. Leave the room. Go talk to that girl who thinks you're flirting. It's hilarious. Go do that.
So yeah, that was my bad excuse.
I got you. See,
I think I do that, but I don't think about it as much. Like people be like, it's so good, and I'll be like, this better not be like Friends.
Well, like, yeah, exactly. Like I watched How much of this shit that you fucking recommended?
You can just keep going. Once you get to like episode 775, it gets good.
Okay, I have
That is
said the
not a
same thing
one.
to
That is
people about
not a
One
One
Piece.
Piece dig. That I didn't mean for that to sound like a One Piece dig.
I have
but
said that. So,
Spoiler alert: your therapist sent me to help you work through these problems that you guys have.
shit, it's like Shutter Island.
this has all been
Everything
an elaborate
comes back
role
to
play.
Shutter Island.
Ben Kingsley's in the corner, like, yes, make him watch movies.
It's fucking Mystery Science Theater plot for like the next fucking season, dude.
I told you that's the
I
reason I
wish you
started a podcast.
I wish you hadn't beat up my car though.
Yeah. In a not
really
too
liked that
distant
car.
future.
I wanted to be a Mystery Science Theater 3000 robot. That's not a job I can just apply for, so I just made a podcast.
I'm one of
Oh,
those weirdos that before people were building those, I was watching the show and purposely trying to figure out what the parts of the puppets were.
Did you ever figure it out?
Well,
yes.
How embarrassing would it be to start listing off the parts of Gypsy? I won't do it.
Okay.
Ooh. They're wheelbarrows, right? And pulled wheels?
They are. Get it in
One's
your
a
mind. Get
gumball
Gypsy in your
machine,
head.
obviously.
Get Gypsy in your head.
And a flashlight.
Get Gypsy in your head.
Yeah.
Main body. That is a car seat.
Ah, I see it.
Okay, we don't need to do any more than that. You got flashlight. Most people don't even recognize that as a flashlight anymore, so that's cool. You got
dude.
that.
Well, I mean,
we're the age that knows that, though.
Gumballs, gumball machine,
Gumball
fucking
machine.
bowling pin. Yep. Yeah. No, I've watched more than I'm proud to recognize out loud, which I've just done.
All right, we'll keep it moving.
Okay.
So, wait, did I feel like I was supposed to say something. I didn't say something.
Well, we technically were.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't say if I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Now I'm trying not to spend the whole episode bringing up -1 because I feel like I'm just rubbing in you guys'
Please
faces.
don't. I gotta watch it.
So I'm gonna stop that.
Oh,
But
so wait,
I
weird
will
question.
say-
Weird question. Does -1 also have Godzilla in it?
Look, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but
It's a red herring. Okay.
there's a chance. There's a chance.
He's actually a green dinosaur.
So everyone knows that I loved it by now because I mean it was number 2 on my 2023 list for the recap. And
Oh, nice.
I mean it's been my profile picture on Facebook for a hot minute with the Santa hat. But
Yeah.
I hadn't seen this one yet because of my honor, not what do you call that? My
Your honor.
stubbornness, my idiocy, I don't know.
Databayo.
I'm not going to watch this. It's my Nintendo. I'm not going to watch this until I find that Netflix DVD and send it back. But
I have one
whatever.
around here, and it's not even a good movie, and I feel shame. I only have it because the company closed down.
It's okay. You have a start of your physical media collection.
Is that it's that and every Little Mermaid DVD.
Look, that's an accomplishment. But I still don't remember what the hell I was going to say.
Whether you like the movie.
I love this one. I enjoyed myself so much, and I'll get into it as we go through the movie. But I will say, I didn't. It's been technically 7.5 years since it came out.
Yeah.
At no point did I see anything that said this was a comedy, and I am shocked. This was okay. So all Godzillas, or at least the non-American Godzillas, are social commentaries, right?
Yes.
In one way or form.
Clearly.
Metaphor, this one, yes, it was, but there's so much comedy that it became a satire, and I was crying.
It leaned pretty far in.
Look, to the point where I would say it wasn't even taking itself seriously, but it definitely was. But it was just, I was laughing so hard, and I was like, ain't no way that's not a joke. Ain't no way that's not a joke. Ain't no way that's not a joke. And anyway, we'll get into it. So let's go through the movie. So film starts out with the Japanese Coast Guard finding a pleasure craft, the Glory Maru, floating off the shore of Haneda with no one on board, right? And all we see is an envelope with some documents inside, a map with the X marked on it, and
Dear Slim.
and like a pair of shoes, right? And then
Yeah.
you see the boat get caught in an underwater explosion. Then we see the Tokyo Bay Aqualine tunnel where a massive amount of blood starts spilling in from the ceiling.
God, that was so gross. That's so Evangelion too, dude.
Right?
Yes.
Look, now I really want to watch the other Shin movies, which I haven't yet. I know Shin Kamen Rider is on Amazon.
One of my
No
friends
shit.
saw that one in the theater and was like, "Tim, I wish you'd come to this with us. It was so
Kamen
fucking
Rider?
good." Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
okay.
like a string of Shin movies?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. I don't know if they have anything to do with them, but they're all
Are they
Anno.
all Anno?
Yeah, they're all Anno. Anno
Oh,
and
shit.
Higuchi.
I gotta find those
It's
now.
just them nerding out together, I guess.
Shin Sentai.
So,
They
like,
just
you know, like,
shoot each other with real guns.
Evangelion gets weird at the end because he was, like, on drugs or whatever, right?
He was fucked up sad too.
Yeah. In the Shin ones, I think he's just living his best life.
Yeah. Fair.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take all of the things that I made into tropes and fuck y'all up with them again.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So then it cuts to the Prime Minister's residence, which is one of the biggest running jokes in the movie. And we see folks in suits talking about a rupture in the Aqualine tunnel and seawater pouring in. And government officials and they're gathering meetings to discuss what caused this and whatnot, right? And then they attempt to brief the prime minister on the matter. And this part's hilarious because the different agencies are all saying different things. And like, even though they like before the prime minister got there, they were trying to figure it out, right? And by the time he got there, and some of them, not all of them, but some of them, with full confidence, was like, yeah, this is the cause. So it's like undersea thermal discharge, an unidentified nuclear meltdown. Impossible. The bay is too shallow for a submarine. We believe to be magma steam, a new undersea volcanic eruption. Excuse me, the epicenter appears to be shallow and just steam. We're confident it's not volcanic activity. Really? Then tell me that sooner. A new hydrothermal vent? That's gotta be it. Mind you, his advisor just told him that it's not volcanic activity. And then he's like, well, that's gotta be it. A vent directly above the tunnel, the geological surveys ruled that out. And then this is where we get our main dude, Yaguchi. He's like, Prime Minister, something is on the sea floor. And the Prime Minister, who they play up to be an idiot, and I love it. He's like, something like what? Like he never knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And Yaguchi's like, a colossal creature. There's even footage online. And immediately everyone just kind of rolls their eyes at that, right? And but nobody really wants to believe him, and it sounds too far-fetched. And the guy that brought him up, Deputy Chief Secretary Rondo Yaguchi, that's what I'm talking about, he gets reprimanded on the low from the guy who got him the position, Hideki Akasaka, who's a special advisor to the prime minister, right? And then again in the next meeting by another cabinet member, then the prime minister himself when they move to the conference meeting, right? So one running joke in the movie is them moving around the prime minister's residence to new meeting rooms to have a new meeting.
Yes.
To build off of the last meeting.
Like there's I stopped the movie. There are almost it's like around 9 minutes of meetings before you see the tail of the monster.
Yeah.
And then after that,
more
another
meetings.
25 minutes until you glimpse the monster again, and it's all meetings
and
again.
This is why I say it's comedy, because they know it. At one point, a character points out, "Wait, why do we have to keep changing locations?"
It's like the whole time they're trying to figure out what to do. It's just ridiculous.
I got another good one for you, but it comes a lot later.
Okay. So immediately after, they pause the meeting and turn on the TV to see the news broadcast of a giant thing they believe to be a tail flailing out of the water, right? And then Akasaka is like, Yaguchi's joke may be a serious thing.
I told you it's the Loch Ness Monster.
Is that a wacky arm flailing inflated tube man?
And then they adjourn the meeting and head back to the prime minister's office to deliberate again. So another meeting. So then a report comes in that the vapor cloud in the water has begun to move into the Tama River from Tokyo Bay. Vapor cloud spotted near the Tama River. Huh? It's moving? Well, it's alive, isn't it? Mind you, the guy who said it's alive, isn't it? That was the same dude that was like, it's definitely volcanic activity. Why didn't you tell me it wasn't volcanic activity?
I don't know. Sorry.
Just the audacity he has to just always be right. Before he was like, he rolled his eyes at Yaguchi when he said it was a creature.
Like,
it's alive, isn't it? So then we see the prime minister meet with 3 experts that provide zero help. So Yaguchi brings in environmental ministry deputy chief Hiromi Ogashira, and he describes her as a smart environmental ministry friend from college, but she's low ranking. So again, more commentary on the government. Mind you, I should have said this earlier. None of us are Japanese.
I'm
so
Japanese.
Our opinions on the Ren is Japanese.
I'm not that Japanese.
He's not that We're not living in Japan Japanese.
Okay.
I'm just Japanese enough to wonder if I need to speak up if my coworkers say something kind of racist. You know what I mean?
I actually understand perfectly the level of Japanese.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh shit, that kind of makes you a shitty person to say that. I don't know if I have the footing to really bring you to HR, but
No. It was a joke about Chinese.
I'm Chinese too, though. That's the problem.
And you'd be like, sir?
They just throw their hands up.
Honky, I don't fucking care anymore. You're wrong about both cultures.
But as in, like, we're from Japan where we can comment on, not really comment, but like have a weighted comment on.
It is not our cultural
observation about how their bureaucracy runs. Yeah.
So this is us laughing at the way the movie presents
the depiction, not the actual Japanese government.
Yeah, before somebody, sends us an email.
Don't at me, Japan, unless you want to at me, in which case we can use the email.
No, since nobody emails us. Anyway. You saw what I did there? So, back to Miss Ogashira. She says, while reviewing the footage, gills make it aquatic, but it has legs like a lungfish. I like that they included this, like, specific
This is after it makes land break?
It's like, it's right before it's official.
Okay.
They're deliberating on why it wouldn't. So, and then somebody's like, if it has legs, can it come on land? And she says, yes, it's a possibility. And then the prime minister is like, really? What then? Someone says, frankly, we haven't determined which agency it falls
under. Yeah, that cracked me up.
And someone goes, our scholars say that its fin-like feet would be crushed under the creature's weight, so coming ashore is physiologically impossible. And then Miss Ogashira is like, it's already supporting its weight. And the prime minister is like, is that so? What's your view, environmental minister? And the environmental minister is like, forgive the deputy chief's poor decorum, but as you experts concluded, its coming on land is very improbable. And then prime minister's like, I see.
Womp, womp.
So that was almost the Godzilla thing. Bom, 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 bom. Womp, 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 womp. So they decide to have a press conference.
Sorry.
They decide to have a press conference since things are already going crazy. Special advisor Akasaka warns the prime minister only to mention verified information. Then in the televised press conference, the PM says, we've yet to identify what sort of creature it is, but we don't expect it to come on land. Should it beach itself in the shallows, we believe it will be crushed to death under its own weight. I repeat, there is no danger of the creature coming ashore. Please set your minds at ease. Then before the camera turns off, a guy runs up to him on the podium and whispers something to him, and he goes, huh? It has! And the camera immediately cuts to hundreds of people fleeing in the streets as the creature makes its way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and its head down.
I feel like that actor was given the role
Because
because of the reaction face. Like, what? Every
What?
single time.
What?
Every
Huh?
single time. Every piece of information. You could tell him anything. Like, sir, I'm sorry. We couldn't make a toast. There's no more bread. He's like, what?
What? Look,
Every single
fucking
thing.
tears. I was so weak. Oh my god.
Just incredible.
Just how like everything is news to, and just his, like you said, his reaction is just always like,
Oh?
oh.
He's either like morose about the duties of being a prime minister and having to weigh the lives of his citizens versus, like, you know, the potential threat of Godzilla, and just being totally flabbergasted by every fucking piece of information he gets.
It can walk.
Oh! Like, I will say though that for as funny, just for all the components of this movie, could have easily been a Wes Anderson. I know we were talking about this before.
We're going to get to the Wes Anderson part soon here.
You
but
make the prime minister.
It keeps happening.
You make the prime minister a completely different actor. He just wow.
Fan casting.
Wow.
Fan
Wow.
casting.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, yes. The prime minister? Okay. Okay. Can we get Jason Schwartzman
What do you
in there
mean?
somewhere?
He'll be one of the ministers, or he could be the.
What about that excitable
minister that,
scientist that was brought in with the ragtag group? You know what I mean? The one's like, look at this, look at this.
The one that he was making fun of Miss Ogashira at first when she talked about the nuclear fission.
Yeah. And then he panics and jumps out of his chair.
That doesn't sound possible.
Yeah. Oh, she's right. But yeah, look. That's so wild. I did not expect it to be a Wes Anderson movie, but so
I think it's coming right on shore. Wow.
So Godzilla
when we see
just one part. Godzilla's stop motion.
Jeez.
I'm done. I'm sorry. Continue.
That's funny though. So when we see, you know, people running and fleeing for their lives, we actually see this is the actual creature reveal, and it looks nothing like our idea of Godzilla, right? So it kind of does, but he's not standing yet. He's like belly sliding. But still, just the way it looks now. I was when I've watched it the first time, I watched it with Cherry, right? And she was upset. I didn't tell her because I knew it would bug her, so I didn't tell her how ridiculous Godzilla looks in this one, and she looked at me like I played a trick on her. Like she was like, "Oh, you didn't tell me this wasn't serious," and I was like, "It is serious," and I couldn't even like keep my face straight.
Godzilla looks like me. Like after playing 2 shows, we're getting no pay.
She's like
having to go home broke.
Oh no. She's like, look at him. Look at him. What is that?
What did they do to my boy?
My eyes.
She was so mad. Like, I knew I couldn't get her on this episode, but oh my, she was so upset. And like, and it wasn't just how he looked, it was his wiggling too. And I was like, what, you don't like his percolating?
Serpentine.
Just wiggling down the street. She was so mad. And she was like, look at his big googly eye. And I was like, because he was a fish. He's mutated. He still got the fish eye. And I kept trying to like justify it. Side note, you can keep track of how big he is just based, like his eye never grows, but everything grows around him. So that giant fish eye eventually turns into a really small eye.
Oh, God, dude.
Because he just gets so big.
Unblinking stare.
She was upset. Just she was like, it looks so derpy.
You did too when you were a baby. God.
Look, right, exactly. He was this baby Godzilla.
He's just a baby.
He hasn't learned to walk yet. Come on, now, stop making fun of him.
Honestly, I think the juxtaposition between the first character designs and the final make it amazing. That much scarier.
Yeah. So
because you have your guard down before. You're like, oh, look at this fucking thing. It's gross. Newborn, still attached to the umbilical cord or whatever. It's just slithering around. And it stands
it's destroying buildings, but that thing might die.
It was more lungfish than giant dinosaur, right? Like, but I haven't seen every single Godzilla, even though I love Godzilla. But I've seen this came out after this movie. There's an anime called Godzilla Singular Point on
Yep.
Netflix that also went the route of evolving Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
So that's not the first time I've seen evolving Godzilla, but I still like the concept. Like as the story progresses, eventually he gets to that oh shit moment.
Okay.
He grows as a character.
Yeah, character
He
development.
realizes his wrongdoing. Now he must save Japan.
Speaking of realizing, I'm gonna get to that joke too. Any sort of criticism or thing that you just might have thought about, they slid a little joke in about it, and I love it.
I
But
love a
moving forward,
self-aware comedy.
I'm glad you agree it's a comedy. As we see someone say, so much red tape. Every action requires a meeting. Then in another meeting, we see the officials realize how much shit they're in as the creature percolates its way towards Tokyo, right? And someone's like, the city is dense and brittle. We're looking at enormous damage. We must exterminate it. And then Kimikyo Yo's character is like, it's a densely populated area. We must evacuate the people first. Like, because they just can't start, shooting it. But mind you, now they're talking about evacuation. It's already on land.
That's a little late. Just a touch.
So then the evacuation order officially gets put in, but it's an immediate failure. Just expedite an evacuation plan on the fly, right? That's what one guy says, I guess the guy who's in charge of it. And then someone's like, citizens will have to self-evacuate. And then he goes, we'll make every effort to control traffic. Camera immediately cuts to a massive gridlock. And you hear the newscast like, traffic signals are out of order. Please leave your vehicles and follow police guidance.
Just bad.
Like, once again, as soon as they say it cuts, they were wrong.
See, what had happened was.
Then they decided to start figuring out a plan to exterminate it, right? But it's not as simple as calling in the army because technically Japan doesn't have a military. After World War II, Article 9 of Japan's Article 9 of Japan's post-war constitution, the Japanese renounced war and pledged never to maintain land, sea, or air forces. And the rearming of Japan in the 1950s was therefore cast in terms of self-defense. In 1950, a small military force called the National Police Reserve was created, and then that became the National Safety Force in 1952, and then the Self-Defense Force in 1954. And that's what they still got, right? So because of this, if they want to start bussing, they got to be sure it fits under the case of self-defense. It's just for protection. They can't go anywhere.
Good old castle doctrine. I see how
and
they go back and forth on this forever.
Like, that's a whole other rabbit hole to get into because, some people be mad that they be, doing UN stuff and whatnot. And they're like, hey, but you leave in Japan, you're not supposed to. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Back to the movie. Then the creature stands up and his skin starts vibrating and he grows and his form changes a bit. So now it's evolved into a bipedal form about 15 stories tall. Yes, I counted the stories because he was standing next to a building.
Hey, I mean, you do what you got to do.
After I counted the stories, then they show a document that straight up said how many meters he was. So I'm included anyway because I took the time to count it. So the SDF attack helicopters arrive, but after the prime minister issues the attack order, initially he retracts it when they spot two old people slowly evacuating.
That
really
had to be comedy. That had to be comedy.
Grandpa carrying grandma, like the camera zooms in and grandpa carrying grandma across the train tracks, right at Godzilla's feet.
You have attack helicopters with like miniguns attached. And they're like, we're ready, give us the order, we're gonna unload on them. And then there's just two little old people just
and here's the
crossing
thing,
train tracks.
They might have been able to kill it at this point because maybe his skin hadn't hardened yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as they're like, wait, there's two old people, and the prime minister was like, no, don't shoot.
It's like, can you hear the news though? Prime Minister stops violent creature from destroying half of Japan, kills two old people in the process. You know what some people heard. Just that last part.
Yeah. I mean, that's the prime minister, right?
Homeboy's still worried about his general image.
Acceptance.
And
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's a terrible disaster going on. Like, just don't worry about
How do you
this
want to
right
respond
now.
to the Godzilla threat? How do my numbers look?
But look, they're so old. Remember, you don't ask me questions like this. They're so old that one of them can't even walk, right? Like, one had to carry the other. You know what my answer would have been, especially because I said I would have killed the dog. So don't ask me these questions.
Okay, Japan, feel free to email Tiff. His
SGBK
Blue
podcast.
Sky is actually going to be his personal Blue Sky account is.
But yeah, funny I said that, but my wife is also like, if the zombie apocalypse happens, like, we're splitting up because you're going to get us killed. You're going to try to save everybody. So maybe there's two different versions of me.
I guess we'll have to wait until Godzilla attacks to see which one you are.
Which one I am, if I'll kill the old people or not.
Tiff, why'd you do that? I don't know. It's Godzilla. It's like you just murdered 2 old people for no reason. It's like, yeah, but Godzilla. It's like, Tiff, that's just a fucking movie.
Your numbers, Tiff.
It's called Godzilla -2. It's like, you were supposed to kill people.
2 minus 2 old people. I'm sorry. Okay. So they cancel the attack, and then the monster roars and starts penguin belly sliding back to Tokyo Bay.
It got freaked out like a cat. It was hilarious. It was like, it's like just bailed.
Godzilla is a cat.
It's like when he saw because he was just staring at him, and then the helicopters went back to hold position, and he's like, all right, well, I'm out then. So then we get a montage of shots around Tokyo with the audio clips and news reports saying what's shut down and the number of casualties confirmed and whatnot. And then we also hear one of them say, the stock market is still open.
Oh, thank God.
Capitalism
is okay.
I don't know if I missed it in the sub, but that was the last line to be said in the dub, but I didn't see that in the subtitles. So I wondered if that was on purpose or not, or if I just missed it.
We're all good.
It was like, over 100 casualties confirmed, yada, yada, yada. And the Shinkansen is down, and the Yamanote line is down, and the stock market is still open.
Thank God. Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
And Yaguchi, he's put in charge of a task force for researching the monster, right? And this is the other Wes Anderson part. So he's addressing his new task force. I'm Rondo Yaguchi. We'll operate as a flat organization. Forget about titles and seniority. Speak freely here. And then I guess the second in command dude, he pops up. And he's like, that's it. I'm nominally in charge, but we're a crack team of lone wolves, nerds, troublemakers, outcasts, academic heretics, and general pain in the bureaucracy. So do your thing.
Yeah, they had one guy that was a badger, and he's a demolitions expert.
It felt like a group of people trying to put together a convention for the first time.
I know all about that.
Is that a pointed remark?
So that dude... You know what's funny from Tim? That probably applies to like 4 different groups.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That was the Health Policy Bureau Chief, Mori. I described him as the nigga with the glasses and the anime haircut. Did you see his hair? It was like poking out on one side.
It was clear. It was clearly meant to make a statement, and the statement is, "I don't do anything to this."
It was like half bowl cut. Yeah, anyway. And he said yesterday's council of experts were too baffled to conclude anything. So
baffled.
So the task force, they get to work and start sharing info, right? And someone asks about its energy source, and Mrs. Ogashira suggests nuclear fission since anything else is unlikely, considering the size and the evolution and whatnot. But that gets her laughed at. So then we immediately see the U.S. carrier pulling out of port due to radiation concerns, and then the nuclear ministry confirming levels are spiking. And the task force realizes it's in the path of the monster, specifically by Miss Ogashira and the guy who laughed at her. And that's when we get to, oh my God!
No, which cracked me up. This is the next funny part that I was going to tell you about. Because they're like, oh my God, we just figured it out. It's a huge revelation. And she's right, vindication. And then she's like, oh yeah, the internet already figured this out. And she's like fucking scrolling through Twitter, and it's already fucking viral information. It's like,
Yeah.
everybody just pulled out their Geiger counter in Japan? Is that like a normal thing? And it's like, oh shit, everybody fucking knew. Why don't we have a social media manager just watching this shit?
Just like, hold up.
Yeah.
They point that out at some point that he's going through the social media, and he's like, we still haven't learned anything. And it's like, but everybody else. At this point, you could be the smartest person in the room. Oh my god.
Like, wow.
The Facebook group for dope memes for tragic teens even said that the Geiger counter has been going up.
You're telling me Elon Musk would have been better help for this than anyone? That's sad for us.
Oh no.
No.
Don't tell him that.
I very much no.
Oh, we don't want him here, but the idea that he just trolls the internet and could have been turning around going to us, well, there's radiation. Like, oh, thanks. You didn't figure that out because you're smart. You just got off Twitter, but thanks.
Oh, man.
You know I own Twitter now.
Maybe we can use a submarine to stop the Godzilla. I have a submarine in case you're wondering.
No, that's not going to work, Elon. You're a pedophile.
Yeah. Why are you always going to Japan? I bet it's because you're a pedophile. Well, we're in Japan, not going there.
Oh God, I'm surrounded by pedophiles. Sorry.
Jesus. So then the U.S. sends
Elon Musk, everyone. Elon Musk.
So then the U.S. sends a special envoy, Kayako Ann Patterson, who reveals that's his Ren's favorite character, who reveals that Goro Maki, a disgraced anti-nuclear zoology professor, studied mutations caused by radioactive contamination, predicting the appearance of the creature. And Maki was disbelieved by both American and Japanese scientific circles. The U.S. then prevented him from making his conclusions public. The abandoned yacht in Tokyo Bay belonged to Maki, who left his research notes jumbled in the code on the boat before disappearing, right? And the note left said, "I did as I pleased, you do the same." And Goromaki also named the would-be creature Godzilla/Gojira, which meant God incarnate.
I loved this whole section of things because it was kind of like funny that, like, you know, he's always been Gojira in Japan, he's always been Godzilla here, and it kind of like tied that into part of the lore of the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's also funny how many pointed jabs they make in America.
Yes.
Like, it's a little audacious. You're like, oh, that's America for you.
That happened
like,
a lot.
Damn it, I wish they weren't right.
Then we see the gang looking at pictures of an underwater dumping ground for nuclear waste. So this is all about unregulated dumping of radioactive material? Don't tell me Godzilla fed on these. Yes, that's the DOE's conclusion.
I told you not to tell me.
That's the girl who said yes in English. Remember?
Yes.
Yes. So then eventually the task force comes up with the idea to get blood coagulant pumped into Godzilla for rapid cooling, which will kill or at least immobilize him. So let's talk about that.
I mean, it makes sense. If you put enough blood coagulant into a regular person,
I don't know. I don't know. Do you have like a big crazy straw I could drink it out of?
I mean, not that, you know, a giant monster that needs to control its cooling to not like overheat and die shouldn't. The blood flow is kind of important, but I mean, it doesn't sound out of the. It just the idea of getting it into him was immediately like, how? Like, how you gonna do this?
I did not see.
I did think that was a little anticlimactic.
I didn't see how they were going to do that coming. I mean, but
well, no,
no, that's what I mean. Like, that's, it's like, okay, where we going? Where we going? And very Wes Anderson like, just like this.
Just like the picture.
We'll use a straw.
God, but it was all.
It would have been such a perfect Wes Anderson movie.
It was all in real time because he it's like, and we'll do this, and then we could do this and this, and then we could pump it into him. How will we pump it into him? Oh, we could use pump trucks like this one.
Yeah. Why did you have a printout of that specific pump truck? We just discovered and formulated this plan.
It got to be like one person that in the back of their mind was like, "Is there a printer in here?"
This is a comedy. Look, this wasn't the part where it happened. It was in one of the 72 meetings in the beginning of the movie. But at one point, Yaguchi says something, and then another person in the room is like, Who are you talking to?
No, yeah, he's like, he starts blabbing like, here's the plan, we'll do this, and we'll do this, and then we'll do this. We just need
Yeah.
you to get on that.
Yeah,
And
and
three
everyone's
men are
like,
like, are you talking, who are you addressing right now? It's just like, bruh.
oh my, that was the first time I was like, wait, is this? And then like 3 minutes later, I was, oh, this is definitely a comedy. This is hilarious. I didn't know this. I never knew that there was a comedy Godzilla.
And that's why they had to make Godzilla -1 instead of Shin Godzilla 2.
Because they're like, we can't do.
Like, guys, we went too funny.
We were too funny. We need to make this scary again.
So MGGA, it's like, was it make Godzilla scary?
Oh, don't worry.
It's MGSA.
That's the Christmas gift. I'm gonna
It's
send
fine.
you that bracelet.
You can cut that out.
A
big old red hat just to confuse people.
Jesus. So and in a wide shot of outside the PM's residence, you see protesters chanting, "Godzilla is God, save Godzilla." I could get you one of those shirts too.
That is a dope ass shirt. I'm not gonna lie.
So Godzilla pulls up again, but now it's his fourth form. Pause. I watched this movie twice.
No, I was already there.
Yeah. Ren, can you help us out?
With what part?
He's now in his fourth form.
Let me
Technically
see
his
here.
final form for the movie. What was
No,
the first
when he
form?
came back
He
out,
said fourth.
They said fourth several times, so I know I'm not crazy.
no,
But I
thought
only
it was
remember
third.
3.
Yep, they said fourth.
Yeah,
Are they counting the form before we actually saw him as a form?
possibly.
That
Were
has to
they
be it.
were
So
they making?
if you wanted to be Dr. Semantics, I think before he makes landfall, Godzilla looks just a little bit different. But then when he like splooshes up like a wet frog, I think that is technically a form he changed into as he hit land. But
I didn't spend
I'm not
5 years of bullshit you to be called
So-
out for my
so is the
semantics
first
degree.
form just his tail coming up out of the water?
That's the only thing I can think
Maybe
of. Is the
him
water is
being
first
unseen.
form.
That's all I got. Yeah,
That's the only thing I got there.
fish or tail. Because well, in the video, the first video we saw, like the cell phone, or I don't know how it's a cell phone video, it was underwater. But whatever video that was that he was watching on his phone or whatever,
Mhm.
we only really see a tail.
Mm.
So maybe that's the first form, and it's more like a oarfish or serpent, like you said, serpentine kind of form.
Oh, serpentine describes the motion.
Yeah.
The
But
slither.
not like Leviathan, sea creature, sea snake, jank.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with what you guys said, and
The first form is
assume
when
that
it's still in the water.
is in
That's
the
about
water
all
when
I
they
got.
didn't really know it.
So, but yeah, they made sure we knew that was the fourth form, and I was like,
Okay.
each Nissan sheet.
Rope.
But yeah, so it's now in its fourth form. It's final, the giant, the Godzilla we know and love form. Just, a little bit uglier and
God, the dead stare in its eyes, just absolutely horrifying.
Oh, we're getting to one of my favorite lines too. So now it's twice its size as before, bipedal, yada yada yada. And it's making landfall near Kamakura. I'm gonna keep saying these names like y'all know what it is.
Hey.
Yeah, but I know what it is.
I told you I'm not that
'Cause
Japanese.
I'm a weeb. I'm not that Japanese, but I'm a weeb. So anyway,
You might be more Japanese than I am.
Weebity weebity.
so the SDF mobilizes to try and stop its trek towards Tokyo, right? And the PM issues the attack order, and they start with phase 1. The attack helicopters finally doing their things and launching the missiles, but this fails, and the big homie's unscathed. Phase 2 initiates with tanks and whatnot launching shots from the ground all around them, and mobile missile launchers from further away, and that didn't make no difference though. Phase 3, fighter jets from up above drop bombs. Side note, I was weak at how the bombs dropped on them, how they're just like, tink.
Oh yeah.
I was like, why they do it like that? Tink.
It's like little explosive Nerf pellets, dude.
Like you
darts.
heard the tink.
Yep.
But yeah, so they drop bombs from fighter jets, and this seems to be working at first. But nah, G Unit still stands. Then he crosses over the river into Tokyo. So they decide to speed up evacuations, and they ask the U.S. for help. immediately the U.S. confirms that they're on board and they already got B-2 stealth bombers in the air. And it's just like, God damn.
They rolling.
They were like, yeah, we were waiting for you to green light it, wink wink. So they get the bombing plan, or the Japanese get the bombing plan, which is going to level an area bigger than what Godzilla already leveled. So, like, they order folks to evacuate underground, right? And by now, like, Godzilla's, like, making his way towards Tokyo Center, like, where you see Tokyo Tower and whatnot. That's Minato is the ward, because Tokyo is actually not a city. It's 23 cities. It's a metropolitan area.
Right, yeah.
So there's a different wards. So Minato is like, that's where Tokyo Tower is. That's in like the center of Tokyo. Like, when you see anime or postcards or whatever, that's where he's headed, right? Roppongi.
He trying to get some swag.
Side note, also where most of the foreigners are.
Yes. Godzilla like, I'm gonna meet a white girl.
Oh man, there's 17 jokes there that I'm not gonna touch. So Godzilla's getting really close to the government area and the center of Tokyo, so they evacuate the prime minister and the task force the best they can, and everyone leaves in like different ways. Like someone's like, I'll see you on the other side kind of deal, because they know traffic's going to be crazy, but they can't everyone get on the president's helicopter, right? And the
get to the chopper.
And the bombs hit Godzilla, even though it wounds him and like even more blood gushes out, but he still stands. Then he leans forward and breathes.
Wait. Can I get in one part?
Yeah.
The bombs make contact. They land in like between plates in his back.
Yeah.
And they explode, and there's blood that shoots out of them, right?
Yeah.
And then one of the officials, Japanese officials, is just like, "Hey, America, good job." the whole time I'm just thinking about these stealth bombers being like, "Thanks, we've had a lot of practice." And just like, fucking Christ. Americans are good at one thing, and it's bombing other fucking countries.
Yeah. I had that joke, or not that specific joke, but I wanted to point that out too, at like how good they were.
It's like are y'all doing war?
It's like, we get the bomb stuff. Our B2s are already in the air.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry. You said there's air. All right, guys. Let's get going.
Oh man.
Yeah, liberate this fucking Godzilla.
We have to save Japan. Blow it up. So Godzilla leans forward and like, it's always iconic when we get to his atomic blast, right? So I
feel like I had seen this several times before watching the movie.
Yeah, it was spoiled
every
for
single
me.
time. It's still cool as shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed it out, because it was spoiled for me, because I remember not seeing or hearing anything about Shin Godzilla for a while, and then I don't know if it was a TikTok or what I came across, and they're just like, "Yo, Shin Godzilla, what this part? What the fuck?" And I was like, "God damn!" Like when his mouth opens up and everything. Yeah. So now seeing it in the movie, I was still like, oh shit, because like first he breathes air and then it turns to fire. Yeah. Then it turns into fire and he just lights up freaking Roppongi, right? And then the atomic blast comes out and it was just like, oh fuck, and then he shoots it up and still takes out a bomber. He takes out the first bomber. There's multiple bombers, and then he shoots fucking these atomic beams out of his back and
just do a whole edit of that where it's like all I do is win. And when the camera go up,
Godzilla does a hokey pokey. It was so brutal. Like he emits this like pyroclastic cloud of just black smoke that fills, and the shots of it are so fucking cool too. Because they almost come across as like news shots, like from a helicopter that's like filmed for posterity, and it's just smoke billowing through between buildings, and then he just ignites it, and it's just fire everywhere. It's such a cool shot.
Oh man, mind you, like, we still haven't seen a lot of God. I actually like it when you don't see too much Godzilla. So the
Mm,
moments you see him are scarier.
Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
just like, oh my fuck. Could you imagine standing there and watching this shit happen? Like
You wouldn't be standing there for long, dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like,
far if you're far enough away. I mean, and then you about to get into your helicopter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're probably like, oh look, he's like miles off. We're probably, oh god.
side note, R.I.P. the president and his closest cabinet members because they got in that helicopter and one of Godzilla's back beams caught him. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah. President, get out of the oh.
Oh no! So yeah, that's some wild shit. And a bunch more buildings go down too because it's like
Hmm.
the atomic beams from its back are like lasers just cutting through the buildings.
Yeah, it's like
Mm,
plasma. It was like
yeah.
fire breath that was refined into sun focused.
Hmm.
It's just a beam that cuts things like butter.
And then like afterwards, he stops moving and he's like right near Tokyo Station, I think.
Mm.
But the city around him is burning, so it's just like just this black figure just in the middle of all this flame. But he like went dormant because I guess he used up all his energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's basically it.
So that was nuts. Oh, I love it. I was like, my mouth was open the whole time. But yeah, so now with most of the high level government dead, the next senior member became acting prime minister, the agriculture minister,
My
Yusuke
boy.
Satomi, the agriculture minister, PM
God.
during this natural disaster. Like,
Yeah. My boy he just wants to eat his
he
ramen.
like he immediately lets you know what time it was. Like he don't want to be there, and like he even says it. He was like, "Why gotta be me? Why gotta be me to make these decisions?" Because it's just like, look, like eventually, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but eventually, it's just like they start entertaining, an atomic bomb to take out
Yeah.
Godzilla, right? And he's just like, "Why I gotta be the one to make this?" But
You know
yeah,
what? Fight fire with fire. It's like, sir, he's nuclear powered.
bruh,
You heard what I said.
right? That was even in one of the MonsterVerse movies. It's just like, yeah, we need to power up Godzilla. Give him an atomic bomb.
He his character gives a lot of energy of like Dante from Clerks. It's like, man, I'm not even supposed to be in here today. I got this fucking prime minister role foisted on me.
Like, there's a reason why he didn't die with the rest of them. Also, it was the first time we saw him. There's a reason. But I wrote down his quote from after they finished briefing him. He goes, "Noodles got soggy. I knew this
Mm.
wouldn't be an easy job." So yeah, back to Yaguchi. He reassembles what's left of the task force, and now, thanks to the lack of superiors, the gang gets to work, and there's a montage of this them getting shit done, like boom, 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 because there's no more red tape they got to go through, right? Because everybody above them's dead. Yeah, so they kick the blood coagulation plant into high gear, right? And analyzing tissue samples, it's discovered that Godzilla is an ever-evolving creature able to reproduce asexually. And the United Nations, aware of this, informs Japan that thermonuclear weapons will be used against Godzilla should the Japanese fail to subdue it in a few days. So it's like, look, we're gonna give you some time to do what you gotta do, and if not, we dropping that bomb again. So then there's the whole conversation of like, we
Yeah.
can't let them bomb us again kind of deal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so of course the task force is like, okay, we got a short amount of time. We need to figure this out. Let's get it going. And then of course there's like I forgot what's his name, Sakusa. He's like, I mean, technically I understand that this is the best course of action. Like we might lose Tokyo,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to lose Tokyo, but from a standpoint of like this creature is fucking scary and can take everybody out, I get it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the evacuations are ordered, and they start to get the outside prefectures prepped to take on whoever can make it out of Tokyo. But, like I said, unwilling to see nuclear weapons detonated in Japan again, Patterson, freaking Kayako, is that her name? She uses her political connections to try and buy time for Yaguchi's team, right? So then now this whole part of the movie is just a race against time and the clock is ticking. I think it,
Mm-hmm.
it was initially like 3 days, but they managed to stall for like 2 weeks, or like she won them some time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But the gang gets their hands on some more information about the rogue professor, right? And like they learn he loathed the people who embraced nuclear or radioactive usage because his wife was left to die from radiation sickness. Then the gang manages to decipher Goromaki's encoded research using origami and a supercomputer. Like, because there was this big paper with all this stuff on it, and finally, like, I think he's a biologist. He saw like a folded swan and was like, "Wait, I got it."
It was like layered genetic sequences, or something like that.
Yeah, thank you, because I couldn't remember how the hell to describe that.
Because they had one picture that broke down, like when they analyze his DNA, they're like, it has like 8 different DNA sequences.
Yeah.
And then they had that big old map that nobody could interpret.
Yeah.
Until one guy's like, you know what?
We got to fold
origami.
Well, I mean, the little swan was with the letter.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, bro, you could have just said something.
Well,
No. You don't understand.
Yeah, Goromaki's an asshole, clearly. So he was like, "Nah, y'all got to figure this out." It's like, but they say it, or I'm about to get to it. Actually, they say that like Yaguchi figures that it was a test. It's like, riddle me this, Batman.
I don't know that I mean, either I missed it or I really wasn't picking up on the context. Like, does Goro just yeet himself into the sea?
Oh, we'll get to it.
Okay, because I feel like I missed that specific thing.
No,
at some point.
they don't say it. They kind of leave it open, but they leave clues. But we'll get to it. So Yaguchi tells Kayako he thinks Goromaki anticipated all of this and helped release Godzilla on mankind or Japan as a test to see if they would do what's right. And ultimately, Kayako ends up possibly sacrificing her presidential dreams to help Yaguchi and the gang get some more time for the deep freeze plan. So now we're getting down to it. Hours before the planned nuclear attack, Japan enacts the deep freeze plan. Using the Shinkansen, the bullet trains, they launch it into the Godzilla to wake him up. And then they launch U.S. drones, which goads them into firing off his atomic back beams again. And he even gets so pissed off, he fires a beam from his tail this time, too. And that was pretty neat. And eventually he runs out of juice, right? Then they detonate the buildings around him and launch cruise missiles into the rest of the buildings that all fall on him to, like, subdue him. And then they launch the pump trucks. Like this one. The pump trucks filled with the blood coagulant that they had made, and they start pumping the solution in Godzilla's mouth, but only by like 30% gets in before he gets back up, right? So then they launched the train bombs. They had like freaking Yamanote line and whatnot, littered with bombs, and he just happened to be, because remember, that's why I pointed out that he stopped at Tokyo Station when he went dormant. So
I've been there.
I'm not. I mean,
Weeb alert.
I mean, I wasn't flexing on y'all or nothing. I'm just saying.
A little bit.
Wait, why are you dabbing?
I didn't even dab right.
Wait. They brought
Don't
out
reverse
the pump
dab.
trucks. So they brought up the pump trucks to get him love drunk off their pump.
What are they gonna do with all those trucks?
Boo this man.
I feel for
sure.
Gojira at this point, because I've been at a convention with people trying to give me drinks, so I get it. I don't know what's in that.
They pull up with their car.
Like, bro, drink this. We were just getting drunk at the restaurant down the street. Why you got those? No, you're not supposed to take those out of the restaurant. Y'all partying too hard. I have to find another room to sleep in. I can't sleep in that room.
So, yeah, the train bombs. He gets back up again. Or no, he gets back up and they launch the train bombs to knock him back down. And then they launch the second platoon of pump trucks in. And they start pumping more into his mouth. And this time they get it to 100% of the calculated amount needed for the plan to work, right? But then Big Homie gets back up again. And so it was just only like 15 seconds of just, oh shit, it's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do now? But then the coagulant kicks into gear and he freezes up.
Godzilla was like, shit, I ain't drunk enough. I can still dance.
And he's like,
falls asleep.
And so, but yeah, they did all of this with like an hour to spare before the nuke got dropped, right? So, yay, hooray, we did it. Then Miss Ogashira announces to the task force that Godzilla's new isotope has a half-life of about 20 days, so that's good news for the Tokyo residents when it came to like radiation poisoning and shit, right? So success.
All this good news had me feeling like,
It's
They
like,
go
this
zoom-
is
they
a little
go-
too convenient.
Yeah.
Right? So then
I hope there's no lingering shot at the end about something that could have been absolutely the worst thing ever.
right? So the international community agrees to cancel the nuclear attack on the condition that in the event of Godzilla's reawakening, an immediate thermonuclear strike will be executed. And then Yaguchi and Kayako, they flirt a little bit and they joke around about how she'll become a U.S. president one day and he'll be a good Japanese counterpart. And Yaguchi's like, you mean puppet?
I was like, damn, he just said it.
Japan's really calling out USA.
Right? The whole
We
movie.
know what y'all are like.
Look, and then I love side note saying we know what y'all are like. The fact that the U.S. was already leaving the port when they detected the radiation and they didn't say shit. They're just like, hey, that boat's leaving.
Well, I don't know if you remember after that first attack, I think that Japan planned out against Godzilla and it failed. There were like 4 American kind of like general officials that just stood up and walked the fuck out like immediately. They're like, oh shit.
So, well,
that didn't work.
Yep, we better get on the boat.
We know what's coming.
I'm gonna go call my dad.
But look, so the final shot of the movie, it pans up Godzilla's back and up to his tail, and on the tip of his tail, you see humanoid creatures appearing frozen in the process of emerging. So let's talk about that. Side note, Shin Godzilla 2 never happened, not going to happen. But
spoiler.
That's what would have, I guess we could have seen, because 1 probably got out before. Because they were like coming out of the tail. So maybe 1 got off, you know?
Oh, you mean like that one egg that opens in the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
98 Godzilla?
And everybody said, nah, we don't need that.
Side note, it didn't end up being a movie, but it ended up being a Saturday morning cartoon that wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was.
I remember that.
That was kind of cute.
Yeah.
It was by the same people that did Men in Black and they did the Extreme Ghostbusters. It was pretty good looking.
Anyway, but yeah, so that's a
nobody
common thing.
Nobody wanted to watch another movie of sexy Godzilla. We didn't need sexy Godzilla.
The Japanese called that Godzilla Zilla. They're actually a fan of it, even though American cinephiles hate it.
Zilla what? Zilla who?
They brought him back
their
for.
Word. We can't say.
They brought Zilla back in Godzilla Final Wars, where they bring all the Godzillas.
Oh shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think I watched that.
I think that's 2004. But yeah, so
put that on the list now.
Back to the tail, right? So go back to what you were saying with Goromaki, and you said, did I miss it? Did he just jump off the boat?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, but whatever he did, like it looks like he just jumped off the boat, and whatever he did, he basically like initiated Godzilla. But there's also a theory that he merged with Godzilla, and that would imply how the Godzilla got the humanoid stuff happening with the tail.
Because the implication otherwise is that humanoid was the next most efficient form for him to evolve into. But otherwise it is that Goromaki introduced his own DNA somehow into Godzilla. But if that were the case, well, maybe because it became bipedal and sought out land. You know what I mean? Because there's no bipedal lizards.
I mean, it could have been, because I missed the joke, missed saying the joke about how, oh no, I didn't write, I wrote the quote down here. And when they're talking about, when the task force was like talking about Godzilla and like trying to figure it out, so somebody was like, and behavioral biology, and someone goes, behaviorally it just moves, it just seems to move,
it walks,
can't determine intellect, and someone goes, I think communication with it is highly unlikely. But that could be like kind of like a wink at this, where now that at the theory that Goromaki became part of Godzilla, that it's kind of like enacting his will almost too, you could argue. It's a everything's vague and it's just a rabbit hole to kind of go under, so we're just spitballing here.
Goro swam to the bottom of the ocean and he left Godzilla a note, and it said, they talking shit about you up there.
Oh fuck that.
Said, bet. Start percolating up the river.
Who said it?
I guess we'll just have to wait for Shin Godzilla 2.
8 years later.
-1.
Also, there's another line that's like, any clue into its behavior? It just walks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's funny. That's That's
Just walks.
That's top shelf comedy. Like, because
They missed the other parts.
once again, like them pointing out like any sort of criticism people may have about Godzilla, they just throw it out there. Just what you got to say? So that's the movie. Let's get into our fun here.
Now I
Go
never.
ahead.
I'm not trying to like be like, look at me, I'm Tim and I have serious intellect. I never watch a movie and think to myself,
It's weird.
I don't
You're
know.
always like that. So serious all the time.
There's most movies I watch, I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of get that. That's an interesting movie. Nice ending. This one is the first one in a while where I've been like, I'm about to watch a YouTube video, see what this white man think this movie is about. Because like there's always just kind of like, this is what the ending of such and such means. And I always hate those videos, but this is the first time I've been like, this is the first time in a long time I've been like, I'm going to watch a few videos to see different interpretations. Because I really kind of came out of it like, wow, everything up until that point was like very clear and interesting. And then at the end, it's like, this could mean many things. I'm going to have to back up, see what other people think. So you're welcome, white people.
Yeah, I had seen a lot of material on just video content kind of regarding the story of it prior to watching the movie. So I didn't have a great idea of what I was going into, but like I had seen part of like, hey, the next form was supposed to be humanoid and be like, holy shit, like that's dope as hell. Like I'll fucking watch the hell out of that. So all signs pointed to yes. It was just a matter of me finding out where it was streaming.
I got you.
Shin Godzilla is like, what's up? I'm Godzilla's son. My name is Jeff. You don't have to pronounce it weird. It's just regular Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Is it G-O Jeff or is it like J Jeff? It's regular Jeff. It's just J.
They're both pronounced Jeff.
Well, I'm just saying mine's the regular one. It's not G off.
You know what? Fuck this. I'm destroying the city. I didn't come here to be interrogated.
Whoa, he got big.
Am I crazy?
This isn't my final form.
Look at his eye. So what's your favorite aspect of the film?
I mentioned before that I super hated natural disaster films growing up. I feel like this is a natural disaster movie, more or less.
I mean,
but
yes, specifically, like there's the 3 different metaphors of Godzilla. This is natural disaster and environmental
neglect.
Yeah, environmental disaster.
Yeah, the other one was supposed to be survivor's guilt.
Well, there's that too. So 4. But like specifically, this one was the tsunami and the Fukushima.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. There was a slight moment where they talked about Fukushima for a bit too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, not at all. With that being said, something about this just bypass all of that, and is great. I'm really bummed out we're not gonna get a second, but I gotta watch -1 now. So
yeah,
Tim.
It sounds like I'm leaning to the comedy, but like really, right until we first started talking, I hadn't really looked at it as a legit, purposeful use of humor. I found it funny, but sometimes I'm just laughing at shit because I think shit is funny. The fact that it's like kind of a known, wow, this could be the hardest wink I've ever gotten. But I just like that so much of it takes place in offices with people literally just being like trying to stop a giant monster through bureaucracy. Because it mirrors the problems we have going on in the world. Because it's just kind of like
climate change.
So all these people are dying of environmental reasons. And all these people are dying of hunger, and we have the food. And 6 guys are super rich. We should ask them what we should do.
It's interesting that they didn't get as kind of granular as to invest time in characters that were impacted by Godzilla. You never saw like a victim or an orphan or like, I lost my legs because a building collapsed on me.
You mean when the building collapsed on Godzilla?
On everybody.
Yeah, it's so it
That's because
feels like
they're
it's so
dead.
pulled back. Yeah, it's the perspective of the movie feels like it's so pulled back from the event because it's focusing on what the bureaucracy is doing in response to it.
Oh, don't worry. When you see -1, I mean, not that you saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, it was an interesting
It's a
take
take.
because I
Yeah.
feel like there's been other ones where it's like I'm head of the security force and I am going to ride the tank that shoots at
Yeah.
Godzilla. This is like, hey, you go pilot these trucks and put the crazy straw in Godzilla's mouth when he's asleep. And what I'm gonna have you do is just gonna have you start pumping.
Do you think the crazy?
The truck.
Do you think the pump trucks in this movie? Do you think they could make a side movie that's kind of like the you remember the asteroid movie where they had to take all the guys and they flew to space and they drilled the hole in
Michael Bay's
yeah
Armageddon.
yeah
Yeah.
You think you could make a whole movie where it's just like, so we got these scientists and we're gonna have them drive the pump truck. You can't have scientists drive pump trucks. You got to get pump truck drivers. It can't work any other way. We got to learn about the coagulant.
We need the Fast Five.
Oh, you already know my answer.
We
Yeah,
get family.
I know it.
Family.
So on that note,
I do wish they did something cooler than Crazy Straws, though.
I got you.
Well, Crazy Straws, but they drift the trucks into place.
Oh, that would have been cooler.
And then
Either that or like missiles with like drill tips or something. I don't know.
Ludacris just goes, all right, we got them hooked up. Get them pumps up there. We got to make this work.
We already made Tokyo Drift. We know how to do it.
I'm the smart one now.
So for me, it was a satire. Like,
it's in there.
Look, there's so much comedy in this that I'm surprised it's not officially listed as the genre. And it's like you said, it could just be us laughing at everything, but ain't no way it's not on purpose. Come on now.
There's got at least
like we see the winks,
the faces,
yeah,
and if they're not leaning into it completely, they're not owning it. They had to put those little bits in on purpose.
So it's like I never in a million years thought we'd get a comedy Godzilla and it not just be like, you know, like the 98 Godzilla, you know, just generic blockbuster. So we insert comedy into it, you know, like, but this is wild. And it's still scary Godzilla while also being funny Godzilla. So I love
terrifying.
that. Yeah, like even just a poster, just a silhouette of his nasty ass face, and it just says,
excellent
God save us.
I did want to say though, do you think we were talking before about the different forms of Godzilla and the first one being so like non-assuming and non-threatening, and the last one just being so like stark split jaw, like gigantic that it, you know, there's such a far breadth from one another that it makes the end that much scarier.
Hell yeah.
Do you think that some of the kind of jokes and the whole like, yeah, that's fucking America, you know what I mean? All that kind of made the scary parts scarier with the soundtrack and like everything hitting so hard?
I said I'm gonna stop mentioning -1 all episode, but
damn it,
I'm sorry.
Why would you lie to me like this?
It's the answer to your question. I would have said yes, and I guess the answer still is yes. But like -1 made it scary using different ways, and I feel like they did scary a bit better. Like there was some jokes here and there in it, but I think I might have been just laughing too hard here. And I'm agreeing with you that the final form was scary as shit, and just like the stare and just how obnoxious he was with it, and when he goes off in freaking in Minato, like that's what, like, little Tiff came in and was like, "What you watching?" Like he always does, and I'm like, "It's Godzilla, but it's scary." And he's like, "I like Godzilla. It's not scary." And then he gets behind my chair a little bit, and then he's like watching from behind the chair, and I was like, "It's about to happen. You sure you don't want to leave?" And he was like, I'm fine. He's peeking from behind the chair, and then Godzilla goes off, and he's like, "That wasn't scary." And he walks out, and I was like, "Huh, all right, whatever."
All right,
I was scared.
Hey, it's okay, man. He's gonna call you in the middle of the night, be like, "Dad, where the fuck is Godzilla? Get out of here."
You're gonna have wild nightmares. But yeah, favorite scene.
Shit.
So there was a lot of really cool set shots that we were talking about before, where it's like it's so far back and it's of the city, but you get to see this perfect line of destruction.
Yeah, they do that like
the
3-4
following day.
times.
Yeah, I thought those were really excellent. The part where he starts bellowing smoke and it's filling every street, and then he just kind of like lights a match basically with his breath, and just everything's on fire. That whole setup
so
between him getting attacked and just reacting, and it's like, oh shit, I could do that, and then all of a sudden it's fucking laser light show. That was probably the coolest scene for me.
Yeah, that was definitely like a 3-stage like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip Tim real quick. I'm tied between just how in awe of that I was, and then like his lower jaw splitting and shit. Like, even though I saw it before in a video, it was still like, God damn. And that is tied with my love of the Wes Anderson Task Force speech.
God, it would have been such a perfect Wes Anderson movie.
Maybe he should be in line to do at least one kaiju movie.
George Clooney voice, we're a crack team of lone wolves, nerds, troublemakers, outcasts, academic heretics, and general pain in the bureaucracy. So do your thing.
Yes.
It would have been so perfect. So perfect.
All right, Tim.
Every scene where they blatantly had somebody go, there's no way, and then cut right to it. But specifically the one where it was just kind of like this, everything's going well. As long as Godzilla doesn't come back, we'll be okay. You
get the Morgan Freeman
the water,
voiceover
like,
in the back. Like, everything did not go well.
Just, I don't know how many people watched Arrested Development, but just Ron Howard just covered up. And that's when Godzilla came back.
Y'all got any favorite quotes?
The walking bit.
Any clue into his behavior? It just walks.
just wow, bro.
Probably my boy, the Prime Minister, just be like, my noodles got soggy. That was it.
But yeah, mine, I think I'm gonna be with Tim, and it just walks, or the other one that's almost the same thing. And in form of behavioral biology, behaviorally, it just seems to move. Can't determine intellect. I think communication with it is unlikely. Oh no, I'm sorry. I got a better one. The Prime Minister, before he makes his press conference, when he goes, prepare my uniform. And someone pulls it out of the closet, and then it cuts to him wearing it, and everybody that was in the room has theirs on too.
I loved the fact that it was like suits, and then the uniform.
Yeah, jumpsuits. It's like, I never get to wear this. I'm so excited.
So put on your environmental disaster uniform.
Let's get those. Get those for the SGBK group meetups.
Oh, that's funny.
For the meetups.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Oh, do we get?
Yeah, our vinyl
full suits.
Yeah, just funny. the little the top looks like it's a members only.
Yeah.
Look,
Prime Minister's like, oh, doesn't it make you wish we had more environmental disasters so we could wear these?
I'm not, like we said, we're not from Japan, but I recognize those suits, and that shit was so funny to me. I didn't realize that was a thing until they made the joke.
It's the very specific. There's work to be done. Official like government uniform.
I'm gonna skip MVP character because there's only like 2 possible ones, right?
Yeah, Shin Godzilla.
Specifically, second form. Fisheye.
I have one, but I don't know her name. The one woman who was in the task force who was so used to women not being like listened to that she just talked anyway.
That's Ogashira.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she was right all the time.
She's the one that was like, it's possible he could come on land. And they're like, no, it's not possible. And there was even a minister who turned around and gave her the stink eye.
Yeah.
And then immediately after his win, he's on land.
There's a possibility he could be putting off some sort of like nuclear energy. People on the internet already figured that out 2 days ago. What? What?
All right. So, favorite character? What character are you?
Mr. Tim, please.
Well, we're going right back to her. She's like one of my favorite characters in the whole thing because she was never phased, which was also kind of eerie and weird, which I guess goes right back into the Wes Anderson thing. Just a character that's just not doing any of the same emotions. She's ready for whack-bat.
Could have been Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm just saying. I mean, Royal Tenenbaums, Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh, I like it.
What would you
We're gonna do a fan cast of Shin Godzilla for Wes
character
Anderson.
I probably am. I'm definitely not one of the prime ministers, but I'm probably part of the crew that got blown up in the helicopter. We're just doing our best. I know what he said to do this, and I did that. We got it done. I didn't do anything, but we did it, right?
Okay. All right, Ren.
So favorite is Lady Scientist, whose name I can't remember.
Ogashira.
Ogashira.
Yes, Ogashira. And I gotta be the head of the agricultural committee prime minister stand-in, because like he's just like
Ren's like chicken's warm.
Dude, I just like it's like fine, I'll do it. I don't want to do it.
Everybody else is dead, and I'm
here. Yeah.
You're next in line.
He's like, how the fuck did I end up with this?
I was 12th in line. Well, 11 people got on the helicopter. I don't know what to tell you.
It was 11 people were on this helicopter.
Okay, for me, my favorite character is I'm either with y'all with Miss Ogashira or the president, or I'm sorry, the prime minister, and just how
every reaction.
Like, are you what?
So we're out of toilet paper. Oh.
Who am I actually? I am the biologist on the task force that always got the towel around his neck because I'm a fat black man.
Why do you have a towel?
Because his inside he's actually a fat black man in the summer, and you got your fat boy towel to dry your sweat off.
That's fair. Okay. You walking around Shibuya with a big old hand-drawn map that you have to unfold in front of people.
It's origami, so you can see the different levels.
He's the one that says communication with it is unlikely. The whole movie is like, I'm just thinking. But yeah, so final thoughts, anything you didn't get out already?
I think I got most everything out, all my notes, my jokes.
Gotcha. Tim?
I think I think we hit most of the really good points of the movie. Like overall, I just had a good time watching
It was so fun. It was so fun. I watched it twice. Watched it with Cherry the first time, and half the fun was watching her just be like, "Why does he look like that?" But I did not expect comedy to satire or any of that. But I'm a fool. I love laughing. So I was. Oh my goodness, I was laughing. I was scared. I was in awe, all at the same. Like it was great. Yeah. So ratings, what you got?
You get 5 out of 5 final forms.
Nice, very nice.
Hey, Tim.
Definitely a suggestion. No matter what somebody, what movie somebody brings up that they like man, the Mario movie was good. You ever watched that Shin Godzilla?
I'm sorry, I only watch A24.
It is a 24 out of 10.
Hey.
I wish I didn't decide to avoid this until I found the DVD. I wish I'd watched it in 2017 when it came over here. Oh my goodness, I wish I did. But unfortunately, I watched it a month after I watched -1, and I'm not gonna. It's harder for me to say I'm not going to take any points off because of that, because that's not fair. But what I'm saying is, I feel like I might have given it the 10 if I saw it first.
Shut up! You're not going to do this.
Really?
You're so generous with your film ratings.
Like a 9.98 even?
Look.
Like, are you going all the way up?
You're going to take off 0.02 points for your own neglect.
Don't do this.
Shame on you.
Oh, shame on me.
Shame.
But okay, you know what? I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna stand on it.
Okay, all right.
Y'all are gonna understand when you see -1.
All right.
Well, see,
Those
the
are
thing
big
is,
words.
I'm a real fan, so I watch them in chronological order, so I don't have to worry about future movies. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, where's this going?
I watch all the Godzilla
So
movies.
you got to go
backwards.
back in time.
I've literally watched. This is the first Godzilla movie I've watched
You
all the way
finished
through. So I got
even
no
the
ground to
American
stand on.
ones?
No, I did watch those.
Oh, you don't
They
count them.
were
Okay.
no. Did I watch Godzilla 2000 when I was a child? Yes.
Okay.
Did I think it was good?
Did I watch the
When
unnecessary
you say Godzilla
60s
2000,
Godzilla cartoon?
are you talking
Yes.
about the Japanese one?
No.
That's literally Godzilla 2000? Or are you talking about
Oh, no.
98?
Oh,
Matthew
98.
Broderick.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Because there is a Godzilla 2000. I was just okay.
Whichever one had Matthew Broderick
Matthew
and
Broderick.
like
Okay.
a skating rink in New
Zilla.
York.
Zilla. Gotcha. Okay. So
That's their word. We can't use it.
sorry. Roland Emmerich's Godzilla. But yeah, whenever -1 becomes available and we
Yes.
can get back together and all talk about it, I'm gonna ask
Oh yeah.
if you're still mad at me for
No.
this, but I'm gonna give Shin Godzilla 9 out of 10 because it didn't hit the life-changing mark for me because Godzilla -1 stole it a month ago. I'm sorry, but this is still a masterpiece.
I mean, I'll get over it. I can't speak for Godzilla though. So
Don't
if your
send it my
house
way.
gets obliterated by a plasma
Please.
array,
Oh
then
my
I can't,
God.
you know.
Imagine if I just like tomorrow I just wake up and I just see that eyeball in the window. I'm shitting myself. Anyway, I'd buy the Criterion of this DVD. It's a 9 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. Only because
I want this on
-1 stole the
vinyl.
crown. But I absolutely love this one too. Shit.
Give me the reel to reel.
Yeah. This was so fun. I'm a yell about this from the rooftops too, because I still think a lot of people haven't seen it. So on that note, good episode. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Plugs.
I got no plugs right now, man. We're kind of just letting Power Bummer do its own thing, and if somebody comes by to
If someone
check
buys
out
some ball stickers,
yeah, if somebody wants to buy some ball sack stickers, dude, that is the only one that sells right now, and I don't even have any complaints. Yeah, so come on by, check out my
Okay.
balls.
Oh no.
Stickers, ball stickers.
But now I have it in my head that the sticker is your balls.
And the world may never know.
All right, Tim.
You know I'm gonna say D&D Sluggers, but I'm gonna say again, if you're interested in having a 22-minute venture into your own sadness to cope with the way the world is currently feeling
Godzillas and stuff.
Yeah, my little EP over there at Bandcamp, Check on Your Friends, has been doing actually a little better than I thought. To which a couple of people have been like, "Are you gonna make a physical copy?" And I still haven't decided. I would probably have to venture into the world of having actual art for it, and not something that me and this little pen fought together on for a while. Digital drawing hard, not easy. Much props to people who can
teach you.
do it.
Hey,
well,
man, I could do it for you for free.
I mean, I'll send you the EP and you just think of what you think
Yeah.
is art for it, and you go from there.
Draw Godzilla.
We could practically call this a collab. Power Bummer, Check on Your Friends, saddest D&D Sluggers EP ever.
Ball sack.
Which is technically on.
Sorry.
You have to somehow make a subtle, almost Where's Waldo ball sack somewhere in it.
I'm gonna add in my 2 cents. The song Naisu is a bop. This is exactly what I told Tim. Is a bop. Specifically the gif of the cat doing bopping.
Yes.
And then Tim really knocked it out the park on There. Like he put his whole soul on the track.
Weird piece of trivia, and I like actually dropping D&D Sluggers lore in places that people aren't going to look for it. I can't finish that song without crying.
I could tell. I heard the tears.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, that shit was real.
So if I ever get back where I'm playing live more often, and someone goes, "Why won't he do there?" I'll be like, "I'm not Samus. I can't be up on stage crying." It'll get weird. Samus can pull that off. It looks legitimate. She looks like it's coming from her soul. I can't think of any other person who cries on stage and it seems real. It's Samus. And if I do, it'll be like, are you just copying Samus? Like, no, I'm sad.
I understand.
What if we just get
But,
you a
yeah.
really cool helmet with a bunch of fucking lights on it or something?
I did jokingly say to somebody one time, I was like, it's too bad I can't just pull my hat down further. And they were like, well, like, what if you like had like a, you know, like a Daft Punk thing? I was like, that sounds like too much. Literally right on it, cry helmet.
Or we
People
could
be
just
like,
go,
I don't understand what's going on.
man, it's okay. We can core out a CRTV, right?
Oh.
And just give you fucking Fooly
There you
Cooly
go.
hat. You know what I'm saying?
Quick name drop. There is a performer from Virginia called Jaguardini who does perform in a TV head.
That's cool.
And I would have never figured out how he was singing through it until I saw it up close, and I was like, this guy's smarter than everyone who's done this. He's good. Jaguardini's good. There's a plug too, a plug from Jaguardini and the D&D Sluggers, and also, since Tifran always has to say it, don't forget to look us up on Blue Sky. We have a podcast for the podcast has a Twitter that may die. So come over to Blue Sky. Is there a threads yet?
For the podcast?
Did you do a threads?
For
I think
SGBK?
you did the threads for the
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, don't forget to look us up on those.
Yeah. At SGBK podcast or at D&D. I'm confused.
Look them both up and follow them both.
Yes.
And
And
give you a
check out
bunch of acronyms.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we over. Next week is shit. Oh, The Creator on Hulu. Baby Denzel in sci-fi. Yeah. I'm gonna stop. That man is 40. John David Washington. Sorry. All right, guys. Bye.
Take care.
Later.